talking trades on today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and welcome in. So we're going to dive into 4 blockbuster trades that the Vikings can possibly complete before training camp gets underway here in about 3 weeks. I will preface this video by saying, 1, I have no idea what some of these trade targets could possibly go for in terms of draft pick compensation. And 2, I don't expect the Vikings to make any trades, but I do want to have fun as we are in the dog days of the offseason. So, a little fun show today as maybe the Vikings do end up swinging big. But I want to get you guys involved here on today's show early. I want to know, what is your confidence level in this front office after the whole after this whole kind of saga of them, going up, getting J.J. McCarthy, letting Kirk Cousins and Danielle Hunter walk? How do you feel about Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and this front office? Scale it for me, 1 through 10, down in the comments section. Now, first trade we're going to talk about here, we've heard them connected, many times with Treylon Burks, and there was actually a Vikings article, or a Titans article put out there recently that suggested the Vikes could be calling about Treylon Burks. So how about they just give up a 5th-round pick for a former 1st-round pick out of Arkansas, big body wide receiver, reminded me a lot of A.J. Brown coming out. But, Burks definitely hasn't had the best start to his NFL career. You could chalk this up to, obviously his, personal play, but also a majority of that has to do with the Titans offense and, them not really having the best quarterback play over the last couple of years. And, he's only eclipsed over, 400 yards once, and that was in his rookie year, and really was, not too effective, this past season, only going over 220 yards. But again, there's a need at that wide receiver 3 spot. It's going to be a 3-headed battle heading into training camp. Powell, Sherfield, and Jalen Naylor. So maybe the Vikings just want to get more, top-end talent in that room. And then, hey, you would have 3 first-round picks as you're starting 3 wide receivers in Jefferson, Addison, and obviously Burks here. But Calvin Ridley, new Titans wide receiver, was talking about the way Burks looked at the OTAs and minicamp period, and he said this dude is a freak. Like, seriously, bro, he's going to be a stud. There's no worries. Dude that big, that fast, man, he's a stud, man. You don't have to worry about him. And, there's no doubt about it. Like, just in shorts and T-shirts, like, Treylon Burks probably does look great. As his pro comp coming out of college was another big body wide receiver in A.J. Brown, who the Titans thought Burks could step in and fill that role that A.J. Brown left. So, I think it would be a different, archetype of wide receiver next to Jefferson and Addison, as, Jefferson's a do-it-all guy, but Addison's more of that, shifty, slot-esque wide receiver where he's all about creating separation, where Treylon Burks, on the other hand, he's the type of guy where it's like, hey, 50-50 ball, go throw it up there, and I'll come down with it. So I would be on the Vikings giving up, maybe a future 6th, 5th-round pick for Treylon Burks. I think it would be pretty exciting. But let's take a position of need here for the Vikes. What about A.J. Terrell of the Atlanta Falcons? Now, he does have some contract, problems going on with Atlanta right now, as he has not been extended. But, A.J. Terrell, he's a hot commodity for the Falcons, and they probably wouldn't give him up for anything less than, a couple premium picks. But, he's been great to start his NFL career, man. You guys see the numbers up on screen right now. Like, he's filled up the stat sheet, good tackler in the run game, which obviously, Brian Flores does ask that of his, DB or of his DBs to come up and make plays in the running game. And, I'm a big fan of A.J. Terrell. I think it would be a great scheme fit with Brian Flores here. But, in the last 2 seasons, like, he's lit it up in the PBU department. Having 4 interceptions total over the last 2 years, has accumulated over 34 PBUs in just 2 seasons. Now, he gets targeted a lot, and he lets up a lot of yards. He lets up a lot of completions. So, but, I do think he could be a good fit with this Vikings cornerback group. But, the thing is with the Falcons, they're not going to trade him unless they're actually blown away with an offer. I thought the Falcons could have been in the cornerback market, in the draft or free agency. They didn't really address it. So they're really only going to, give up A.J. Terrell unless they get blown away by an offer. So maybe the Vikings give him a future 2nd, future 4th-round pick to land the cornerback. Again, very unlikely, but who knows? Maybe Kwesi is just cooking something up there, in Minnesota. But I do want to ask you guys this. What is your biggest concern with this football team heading into next season? For me, it's probably the interior defensive line, but maybe some of you guys think cornerback. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. I'll make this the pinned comment on today's video, so if YouTube throws an ad break your way, sit back, let it play, and let me know your thoughts on the biggest concern for Minnesota. Now, what about another cornerback who is an all-pro caliber player, Marlon Humphrey of the Baltimore Ravens? And you're probably going to have to give up a first-round pick for him. But maybe Baltimore is looking to move off, and, maybe they're trying to get some future draft capital. And I'll tell you what, the Vikings could somehow swing this trade. I would be jumping for joy here in the Chat Sports Studios, and we're probably going live here on the channel. And, Marlon Humphrey, I think he is a true cornerback one, no doubt about it. Has had some injury concerns over the last 4 seasons, but he did play in all 17, 2 seasons ago. And, he's always been a ball hawk, great at reading the defenses. And, he's been a staple for that Baltimore Ravens defense over the last couple of years. And, the Vikings cornerback group, I like a lot of these guys. I don't love them as a true cornerback one. Byron Murphy, I think he would be one of the best cornerback 2s in the league. And then I think a guy like Shaq Griffin would be a great cornerback 3. If you just plug in Marlon Humphrey and move everybody down the pecking order, we would be thinking about this group a whole lot different. Now, no doubt about it, this would be an all-in move for Kwesi and this front office. If you would somehow swing big and give up a future first-round pick for Marlon Humphrey, that would be an all-in move. But maybe the Vikings are thinking really aggressive, and we're thinking in that 2026 draft, hopefully we're in the playoffs in 25, and maybe that's a pick in the mid to late 20s. Who knows? That would be a very fun idea to bring in a true cornerback one to this group. As I feel like the Vikings defense, they are a elite corner or an elite defensive lineman, specifically on the interior, away from potentially being an undisputed top 7, top 8 defense in the entire National Football League. But speaking about the interior of the defensive line here, what about Pittsburgh Steelers legend Cameron Hayward, as he is going to enter free agency this upcoming season? And maybe Cam Hayward, maybe the contract negotiations kind of go, or they stall out a little bit, and he's looking to get a new deal somewhere else. Maybe the Vikings could swing big and land him for a 4th-round pick in 2026. Now, Cam Hayward, he's a stud, man. Can really get it done from the interior. The thing I love about him the most is, he's able to get pressure from the interior. And as we know, watching Kirk Cousins over the past couple of seasons, what's the number one way to throw off a quarterback? To pressure them from the interior. Because a lot of these teams in the NFL, the interior of their offensive line is always a little bit shaky. And this is a guy who last season, or 2 seasons ago, put up 10 sacks. He is fantastic in that department of getting pressure on the quarterback. And, listen, the Vikings defensive line here, I love what they have in the edge department. The Dallas Turners, the Jonathan Grenards, the Andrew Van Ginkels, even a guy like Patrick Jones, Andre Carter. They got 5 edge rushers that I'm a big fan of. But, at the interior, you got Harrison Phillips, and that's about it. I like Jonathan Bullard. He's going to probably step in and, be a good rotational piece. But, former first-round pick Jerry Tillery coming in from the Las Vegas Raiders, he's looked great during OTAs and minicamp. But would you feel more confident with Cam Hayward being in that spot? 100%. Also got Levi Drake Rodriguez there as well, 7th-round pick, who apparently, was turning heads this offseason. But, my overall take with talking about all these trade rumors and all this is, I don't expect any of these trades to happen. But when I do expect, the Vikings to, kind of push a lot of their chips to the center of the poker table and go all in would be next summer. They got all types of cap space. Hopefully you got, Darrisaw extended at that point. You just extended Justin Jefferson. And maybe you're thinking, let's just build a loaded team around J.J. McCarthy because he will be on his rookie deal. Kind of take the San Francisco 49ers, S route there. So, again, this summer, don't expect the Vikings to be aggressive, but maybe they're looking at that $26 million still in cap space as possibly, using that in, a trade, get one of these big-time players, in the Vikings organization. But personally for me, with that $26 million, I would either go out and sign a guy like Stephon Gilmore, or maybe you extend Christian Darrisaw this summer and, use that $26 million, put that all on Christian Darrisaw, and then he can kind of, have his salary, get a little bit cheaper as the years go on. So, again, don't expect any of these trades to happen, but it's the dog days of the offseason, so might as well have a little fun with it. But you guys let me know. Name a player you want the Vikings to trade for. Get wild with this. Again, it's the dog days of the offseason. Nobody's really, taking this too seriously here. So you guys get creative for me. Name a player you want the Vikes to trade for. As always, guys, you guys can give me a follow on Twitter. That's the handle right there, @PatSeeps. If you guys do so, I'll give you guys a follow back. And, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are watching right now, you guys are a diehard Vikings fan. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. See you guys next time. Let's go Vikes.